Bonjour tout le monde. Hello everyone. So today is a special emission, special news. Alors, bulletin spécial aujourd'hui et ça va être surtout en anglais. It will be mostly in English. You know, something happened last week. It was the 1 million march for children from coast to coast. Alors, c'était la marche 1 million pour les enfants, donc 1 million de marcheurs pour les enfants. Oui, je vais avoir avec moi la lieutenant Michelle Lindsay du PPC Atlantic Canada Lieutenant. So, moi, je suis le lieutenant du Québec. I'm the lieutenant of the Quebec province. And Michelle is the lieutenant of the Atlantic region Canadian. So, Maritimes like New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Terre-Neuve, and Prince Edward Islands too. So, she did a great work last week talking to the march. But it has some consequences. She will be with us to talk about it. But before, I will play a video of her presence. Merci, Michel, d'avoir été là. Donc, avant qu'elle entre, voyons voir.
Our children, or we can tell the government how we want our children educated. Hands off our kids. Education is not sexualization. Let boys be boys and girls be girls. Children belong to their parents. All children want is for their parents to protect them and provide them with security. Well, they are being taught by someone else. So it's very important that you rise up and protect your parental rights. Protect their innocence. They are precious and innocent. And they are our next generation. They will create this country again and again, and you must protect their mental health, their psychological health, and their physical well-being.
Alors, c'était Michel qui parlait. Le son coupait étrangement. So, sadly, the sound was cutting sometimes. It's strange that it happens with some events, some particular. But anyway, welcome, Michelle. How are you?
Hey, good. Thank you for having me.
It's an honor and a pleasure to have you. And great job you did last week.
Yeah, I actually wasn't expecting to say that speech. The person who was helping organize that rally, actually, he's a younger gentleman. He's at like 19. And I think the massive crowd actually, he sort of questioned his self-confidence there. And I said, that's okay. They need a leader and we have to start speaking. And so, we had a larger crowd than the counter protesters, but the mainstream media would never admit that.
Yeah, like that. This is the crowd you had, eh?
That's not mine. This one's mine. Yes.
Yes. So this is the crowd you were. Like this one let's see for the people.
That was at in Halifax, and that was at the Grand Parade in front of City Hall.
Mm-hmm. How many people were there?
We're thinking we probably had 600 to 700 people on our side. We have a small city, right, compared to some of the other cities. And we probably have the most liberal city of all. It's unfortunate.
Well, maybe Montreal is not is a liberal.
Well, Montreal is a different beast in all in itself. But over 52% of people here who are working work for a government. And so a lot of people are concerned about if they go against the Liberal government, they may lose a job or that because, maybe they won't renew a contract. So then they start thinking that they have to vote Liberal. But we have the Irving shipyard, and the Irving shipyard came to fruition because of some of the work Maxime Bernier did in the past.
Mhm.
Uh, so as the business minister. So it's interesting because when he came here actually in 2022, we did a tour of the Irving shipyard. And of course, they're all, they have labor unions there. And he said, well, finally, I get to see something that's come to fruition that we actually worked on.
Oh, good, good. Yes. And Maxime, yes, Maxime was present also last week. We can show again a picture. It was loud and clear. Our presence, our PPC presence was well noticed, I think, uh, everywhere. So let's see the next one. This one. Okay. Yeah, we can be proud of our leader. Yeah. So
Yeah,
this
well,
was,
he did speak, right? And
yeah.
we have to have people that speak up for Canadians and not be a mute voice, because a lot of people are waiting for someone to actually represent them and say something. And there is no one except Max, and we're like the unelected official opposition. Because we seem to be the ones speaking out, and it seems that conservatives always look to see what we're doing before they actually end up taking action.
Yes. And so two things happen at this protest. First thing, this is why I wanted to do a video for you to explain what happened at the protest. A child could have been hurt. What
Yeah.
happened there?
So when I must have been on the steps, either speaking or there were children that wanted to chant as well through the microphone. And so when we were all assembled, my husband with a couple of other people saw something coming, a projectile coming from
Mhm.
uh, the counter protesters, and it was a very large rock. And thank goodness it didn't hit anyone. But the intention was to obviously hit someone because they were throwing it in the crowd, and it went right by a woman's face and then landed actually next to a planter.
Hmm.
And they a lot of people were concerned, and they took pictures of the rock, and then they took it to the police. And the police had said that they knew what had happened, and I think that person was actually arrested.
Okay, so at least the police did something about it. So
I think they did, yeah, because there was in the newspaper that night there was something that said, person arrested for
Hmm,
having a weapon. So we figured the rock must have been the weapon, and
yeah.
they had seen where it had come
No,
from.
it's criminal. Do you know which newspaper is it, or which news talked about it?
Oh, geez, no, I don't know. I mean, you just
Okay,
look at everything to see
okay.
what's happened. Like I had interviews from the CBC
Uh huh.
and
Good.
from Global, and I don't know what the CBC. They kept asking me, do you know of the sexualization in elementary schools? Well, um, you know, what they're doing in elementary schools is they're asking children what their pronouns are.
Mm,
And, most schools, elementary schools, don't have some sort of sexual health information or education until they're, maybe grade 4, 5, and 6, right? And
yeah.
so to ask someone who is in grade 1 what your pronoun is, it can be confusing. And there are not resource teachers, but guidance counselors who have reached out to me and have had to resign because as a guidance counselor and part of the Canadian Counseling and Psychotherapy Association,
Mhm.
they go by ethical standards, and they have to go through research and that to see what is effective and what's safe, in terms of practices in the school system and for mental health reasons too. And they're saying, that there is a lot of data that shows this is not well for this is not a good health direction for children. And
No,
so
not at all. It's strange that in 2023 we must talk about it. And you see, your presence was well noticed, of course, in CBC. We'll find
I
the
don't know if they actually said anything, but they did have pictures. And then Global, they asked me, and they did keep it up. I believe someone had seen it in my community, and I just talked about why we were there. We were there to protect the authority of parents and the rights of parents, and also to protect children from being sexualized. And even, a long time ago, people used to say, it doesn't matter if you're male or female, we're all equal and we should be treated equal in terms of equal pay and all that stuff. And now they're going back to removing female and male from the education books. One of the principals told it here in Nova Scotia, told one of the guidance counselors that he said, we are trying to remove male and female from the curriculum.
Yeah. No, they're trying, and not just the male. It's the masculine part. They try to kill. They try to destroy the masculine part. The stance, the strong stance, and
The
people
toxic
acting.
masculinity.
Masculinity, yeah, the toxic masculinity, yeah. This is what pissed off most of the leftists, the crazy leftists, liberals, and other fake conservatives. But also, yes, the destruction of the femininity, the women, the real women, like you, like others, that are standing in their way.
Yes, and so that being said, the phrases that they're starting to use now are people who give birth, so birthing people, not women who give birth, and menstruating people, not women. And so they're saying that men could breastfeed, men could have children, can birth children, and yeah, it's like we're actually. I was speaking to a lawyer. And she came to one of my events, and she said that she has. She said it's almost like it's an anti-women policy that they're trying to agenda that they're trying to
Oh,
bring.
yes.
Right?
I'm telling that in French. Yeah, anti-femme against women, anti-real women, and they're talking lies. Like a man can get pregnant, that is false. Les hommes ne peuvent pas être enceintes, c'est faux, c'est un mensonge. Only women can give birth. Sorry, but yes. This is the reality, the science. We must listen to the science, they told.
Well, when you talk about XX equals X or equals XY, well, of course they don't. So XX hormones, chromosomes. You have people that are starting to, if they want to, if an XY, if a male wants to be a female, then they have to go through all this hormonal adjustment. And just saying that you're taking extra estrogen and progesterone doesn't make you a woman. And, just secondary sexual characteristics doesn't even make you a woman. It's the overall being. It's right in the fabric of your body, down to every molecule and atom. And, when people say, well, I'm a trans woman, therefore I am a woman, that's not reality.
Yeah, exactly. And someone asked me, do they develop a technology, hidden technology, to to implant a uterus in a man? Though that this is totally absurd. So
Well, maybe,
they're trying to do some crazy stuff.
yeah, well, some people think it's, pushing the lines of transhumanism, where maybe, the role of a woman instead of birthing will just be, everyone will be equal. There's no
Yeah.
such thing as men and women, and the protection of women isn't necessary anymore. And you
Yeah.
can actually have external uteri that will help give existence to a baby, right?
No,
I
this
think
is
they're doing that technology.
yeah, this is like I said, the crazy bull, the word you can say in English. So it's all BS. But another
I,
yes,
I do have one more thing to say. When
yeah,
we look at people who want to take all these hormones, it's really strange how, you have women who are menopausal and they want to take hormonal replacement therapy, but have been told after one study that it's a possibility that they could increase their risk of breast cancer when they're replacing hormones that they've already been living with. And then you've got someone who has never had that balance, those heightened hormones in terms of like the amount, and then um, you're giving them hormones to change their sex. Don't you think that there would be a lot more studies? Not that there is, but you think that when they did do the study, you would see higher risk of cancers because now you're doing something that is not normally in the body.
just like that. One study about it, but they don't care. They don't care much about the health of the real women
But
and the other.
so I did have something else I was going to say because so I did have this person who came to one of my events. We had a town hall on Saturday. We just wanted to continue the conversation,
Yeah,
and a lady came up to me and she said, "I have a son. He is she believes he is non-conforming boy and probably will end up being a gay boy." And she said they're trying to push him to be a trans kid, and he's 8 years
yeah,
old right now.
yeah. It's a social. It's I don't say that. It's a pervert social pressure on people. They don't help them. They don't care about them too. That's the reality, and
No, that's
they
right.
will have
That's right.
money about it.
If they cared about children, they wouldn't be doing that. They'd actually, how they say, the C4 that everyone voted in, and we're high fiving in the House of Commons with the Conservatives and the Liberals and the NDPs and the Greens and the Bloc. They all thought the C4 was great, and they said, "Oh, it's only about anti-conversion therapy." But there are psychotherapists that are very concerned, and psychiatrists who are very concerned with that bill.
Oh
And
yeah,
they
because it won't solve their problem. The so-called it's not a transition. This is a false narrative too, but the so-called mutilations won't solve the problem of the people not happy in their body. Sorry about that, but this is a lie. They're telling, and they are suicides after that. So people must have help, but to accept their human body. That's
Well,
it.
yeah, that's it. So if you have gender dysphoria, why do you have to transition the person? Why can't you encourage them to feel great in the
Yeah,
body that they were born in?
yeah,
Because at least that their hormones will be balanced. They
yeah,
will actually have full reproductive capability when they're older,
yeah.
and they will not have issues in the future with their health. Now, who's to say though? I know that there are some people who do need to transition when they're older, but transitioning a child before the age of 18, when people need to be providing informed consent. So you're going to ask a child under the age of 18 to provide informed consent when that informed consent is having the knowledge of the consequences of taking that surgery and that treatment. And
Yeah.
even at 18, I don't know if people know what the consequences are.
No, no, and in fact, the effect in long term, mid-terms effects and long term are not known yet. But we already have some stats about women who tried the transition to be a man. It didn't get well, and 40% of them are going to suicide. It's not they. A little boy learns soon how to manage his hormones growth, is strong pulse from coming from the what we say, the hormones of the male, the testosterone.
Testosterone. Yeah.
It's the testosterone was forbidden in the Olympics for a good reason. It gave much power, not just muscular, but also in the mind. It affects the mind, and taking that for women is not without consequences. So that would be bad.
Yeah,
And
I gave unfair advantage. Just but I know for children, we just want children to not be confused. I was watching some documentaries recently. Even in Sweden, they were saying that they didn't even want to decide what gender the child was. Just let the child play. And I see some benefit to that, especially if we're going so far over on the other side that well, you have to tell us right now at the age of 5, what do you feel like, a man or a woman?
no,
Kid's not going to even know what you're talking about.
exactly. No, this is a lie. And so you take a stance, a public one, you made CBC, and suddenly you receive a strange message. This is not how can I say that? I'm not so much surprised of this kind of message. In these years, this is what we're against for, and taking a stance publicly, what we are doing, you and me, Kelly and Maxime and other, as a price. And this is the price. You see, let me read it. Hi, Michelle. I just wanted to reach out to you and let you know that unfortunately, I don't think I'm the best match to continue being your hairstylist. Wow. The best match, Wow. um, our salon is an extremely inclusive space, and we pride ourselves on being allies for the queer community. Two of our stylists and many of their clients went to oppose the rally yesterday. After having discussions with them, they no longer feel safe and respected in your presence. Oh my. So, how do you receive that personally?
Yeah, I'll tell you what happened when I first. What had happened was I was interviewing a candidate for a person for candidacy here in Nova Scotia, and so I kind of I wasn't paying attention to my phone, but I felt buzzing, and so after the interview, I looked and I noticed all my hair appointments had been canceled because I book 3 months in advance usually. So
Incredible.
I have
Live
well,
during
and
the
I
protest.
kept seeing canceled, and I was like, "What is this? Was this because we changed some appointments and she just had to cancel the previous ones that hadn't been canceled?" And and then I looked at my text and I'm like, and then I found that, and I felt it was very hurtful. I'd been with this woman for 5 years, and I helped her, with her hair, grow her hair because I have a hair loss studio. And I was actually referring clients to the other ladies. They didn't know that. People would say, "Oh, where do you get your hair done?" And I'd say, "At this particular studio." And I think the other ladies are taking clients. I know my hairstylist wasn't, but the other ladies were. And so I'd say, try these 2 ladies. So that's why I was like, wow, I've always been kind. I've always been nice. And that's
Yes,
it.
and I know you, and you're a kind person, and we can give you bad intentions, not like them. But for me, it's my opinion. I will tell they're cowards. They're afraid, and they don't realize yet that they will lose their freedom in some way. Maybe they already lost some part of it in the COVID show. They lost their freedom, and they agreed with that. And to being as cowards like that, and you refer them many clients, well, it's a sign that they will be okay if the government will mandate them to do something anyway. But you'll have to find another hairstylist.
Yeah, and like I knew that my stylist and I didn't see eye to eye when I came back from the Freedom Convoy, and so the Freedom Convoy was February 19th. I think it was the last day I was there. Then 2 weeks later, I'm getting my hair done, and she says, "Oh, so what have you been doing?" I said, "Well, I just got back from the Freedom Convoy. It was amazing." And I know that she thought it was horrific that I had been there, and because she had a friend living in Ottawa who said it was the worst time of their lives, and it was so.
Oh yeah, terrible. Too much fun in Ottawa.
I was trying to say, no, that's not the case. It really wasn't. It was the mainstream media trying to say that and trying to get everyone in fear of what was down the street. And I said, but really, I was there and I wasn't scaring anyone. And so I know that I had to stop talking because she felt uncomfortable about me saying anything that was contradictory to what she heard.
Yeah. No, we were we're seeing that now, of course, and like we were treated as a Nazi things, And what do you think of this mess in the Ottawa Parliament about they applauded a Nazi, a real one was there, and by the way, the excuse of we didn't know who this guy was, blah, 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 because guess what? In the last World War II, they were allies and the Axis, and the allies, the Russia was one of our allies. So of course, if someone was fighting against Russia, yeah, it was Nazi.
Well, yeah, I know that I was just listening to another podcast today on why this gentleman probably decided to fight with the SS because apparently the Russians were not treating the farmers very well and some of the citizens. So when the Nazis came in, they were like, yeah, you want to fight with us? And I guess they thought, yeah, I'll fight with you because I don't like what's happening from the Russian side. So, I was like, yeah, it's you're always caught in the middle, aren't you? And, but, they did really need to check out the background. I mean, if he was fighting on behalf of the Nazis, then, that's an issue, especially when we're called Nazis at the Freedom Convoy.
Yeah, this is what we were against. We were treated as Nazi, and even Polyev told speak about Christine Anderson. He told everyone that she was a Nazi. We must remind that. And at my knowledge, Pierre Polyev did some excuses.
Why did they consider her a Nazi? Is she a Nazi only because she's German? I mean, what is that about? Like, why would they say that? Is it because she didn't like lots of immigration, mass immigration? I spoke to a lot of the people that were at this rally. Many of them were from the Muslim community. And many of them say, yeah, we don't believe in mass immigration either.
Yeah. No, and mass immigration is a thing. But why they emphasize with the word Nazi? Because they knew what was coming. They knew what was coming. It's clear.
What? Who knew what was coming?
The liberals and some conservatives, the war in Ukraine, Russia, and the Azov battalion, they knew that this could be that could trigger some bad effect, ripple effect in Canadians to be against the support of Canada for that. And so they put all the Nazi word everywhere outside of them. But and I repeat, the guy who was presented last week in the parliament, sorry, but they knew who was this guy. Chrystia Freeland knew who was this guy. It's not the fault of the president of the chamber.
Oh, yeah. They're trying to say that no one from the prime minister's office
No.
knew
That's a
who
lie.
this guy was,
That's a lie.
and that the speaker now has to take that on himself.
Yeah,
and,
to
and,
protect them.
and yes, to protect them.
But it's not the speaker. The rest of the room, most of the liberals knew what this guy was, and also let me show you a picture, another picture. It's impossible, you know. They are the Canadian services, you know, the secret services. If you're going to the parliament one day, and I'm sure you'll go, they will know all your pedigree, what you did. It's not everyone who can sit there, and they don't know who.
Well, it depends on. Like I was there when it was the education over indoctrination on June 9th. The day before, we actually went to the House of Commons, and we had a great time. And we were sitting in the gallery, but there was no president from a war-torn country being celebrated that day, right?
No.
So when you have invitees in the gallery, they are completely vetted.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
So that's the odd thing, and that's what even the conservatives are.
Oh, signal lost. We lost signal of Michelle.
I'm here.
Okay, she's back. The signal cuts just when you talked about the vetted.
Oh yeah,
thing.
yeah. So I mean, it's expected. It's expected that that the PMO's office would be vetting all participants or invitees.
Oh yes,
to the gallery.
Yes. For security reason, you have a guest from a country at war, so you have to be sure everyone sit in there is clear. So they knew what they did. Yeah, she's frozen. Yeah. You Michelle, it's not a hazard. Okay. Let me show you another thing. Maybe two things, and we'll finish with that. First, this is a liberal one. You see, she was happy. Karina Gould. Yeah. What you think about her and with the Nazi there, and maybe I don't know this guy. I don't know if it's the son of this guy, but we're talking about donations of Liberal Party also in these topics.
Yeah, and Karina Gould was apparently like very upset that she was seen with this gentleman, and so you know maybe some of the MPs didn't know, but sure, you know that the RCMP and the PMO's office knew.
Yeah, no, it was not a mistake.
Could it have been that they were just so incompetent in reviewing the backgrounds of these people? I mean, that's a possibility, because all the thing, you know, because the funny thing was, it's like they're asking the speaker to resign over this. Look at all the things that Justin Trudeau did to his people, his own people, and no one's asking him to resign.
Exactly. And let me show you another thing that you'll see after that. I'm sure you will be pretty convinced that they knew who was this guy, because I saw some posts telling, oh, you know, it was horrible for Zelensky to be tagged, to be in presence of a Nazi. And we're playing big games here. Let's see. Alors, this is stamps. Heroes don't die. Yeah. So this is stamps in Ukraine. Heroes don't die. Ukraine is emitting now stamps for this guy. So it's not bad, eh?
So that guy has stamps for him. Is that a joke?
Maybe, and now people are telling you, see, oh, it disappeared. Oh, sorry. So Let me see. Yeah. So maybe it was. Is it true or not? The people showed that today,
Hmm.
but now it's disappearing from the website.
Interesting. Okay, so that was a stamp that was created for the Ukraine.
Yeah, but now it's disappearing. So like, mm,
Well, the funny thing is that how people were saying there were a lot of Nazis there at the beginning of this war with Russia, and people were in denial. They were saying, "No, no, there's no Nazis," and there are people saying, "Well, you needed the Nazis there to keep the Russians intact, away from us." Well, what's the story then? Well, what's the true story?
yeah. No, this is important. So we'll know the story maybe later, as always. So,
Yes, yes.
so
And so, what's going on in Quebec?
yeah, but in Quebec, we're still preparing candidates also for PPC. I have a meeting tonight, and we'll have some other events coming. Some of it. The Montreal, there was a good presence on the 1 million march too, but not as much as in the Ontario. We don't have enough signs for that ready. So we have to work hard to continue to work hard to prepare the ground like you. But you're doing yourself a great job in Maritimes. Congratulations, Michelle, again. And when is your next event?
Tomorrow night. Tomorrow night is our next event. We're having a social at the Beaver Bank Station, just in Sackville area. And so we're going to we do these evening socials, with our members, and they come out, and we provide hors d'oeuvres, and they're responsible for their own drinks, and they have a chance to talk to everyone, talk about policy, make suggestions, and if they want to volunteer, they come up and they talk to us about volunteering. Some people will donate. Some people will have really great ideas for events. I've been trying to get GADSAT here with Max, but you know what? I can't find a venue. Can't find a great venue for that, and so we're running out of time.
Yes, and in Quebec, I'll have a meeting in Drummondville the October 4th and October 8th, October 7th in Gatineau too. So two events coming. So Café Rencontre meeting, we'll do that, and with candidates and volunteers, and also general subjects, also discussions, municipal, regional, provincial, everything we discuss. We'll discuss about many issues. Quebec province, we're going, by the way, for information in the COVID show again. They're trying to anyway. So, and did you know this morning that the United Kingdom, they closed airplanes because of COVID this morning? 160 flight canceled in London.
And why? Because of COVID? Are
Yeah,
they having some extreme outbreak?
extreme outbreak. Well, define extreme outbreak.
Well,
Two
I
cases.
mean, we know that a virus, as it mutates, it gets weaker and weaker. And I know scientists and doctors will say, well, it's 98% of the time that happens. Usually people don't say 100% of the time in science at all.
No.
They'll, be close, but they won't say 100%. And so, 98% of the time, a virus gets weaker and weaker as it becomes more contractible, as it's more transmissible. And
Yeah.
so I guess people just having a little cough, and it just
COVID test. Go testing.
well, we put fear into people's heads. We've hijacked a lot of people's
Oh yeah.
minds, and
That's a good expression. Yeah, they hijack the mind of people. Yeah, I like that.
and
Yes.
so when I see people with masks, I don't bother them anymore because I'm about free choice, right? Freedom, choice. If you want to wear a bag over your head, that's fine.
Yeah, well, it's also a sign of submission, but that's another topic we'll have together. We'll have
No,
more chat.
but a lot of people can have that fear. You know, a lot of older people have been told by their families, by their doctors, that they have to protect themselves and that they just can't stop that. And it's really sad if that's the case and their minds have been hijacked to think that that's the only way they can protect themselves.
Yes, so I agree with you. So they put fear in the head of the people, sadly. So
And
thank
you,
yeah, yeah, go go.
like I'm a health and wellness advocate. I own I'm a trichologist. I have a hair loss business, and a lot of it has to do with malabsorption of nutrients, and
Uh-huh.
then a lot of times hormones as well. So that's why I know about hormones. And I'm a fitness trainer, and I train people over the age of 65. That's my specialty. I keep them
Mhm.
functioning and out of the healthcare field. And so I'm always reading, not just about politics, but I read about the new research that's out on specific supplements and how to overcome some of the shortfalls when you age. And so, one of the things, and you'll know this because one of the comorbidities to a fatal case or a very bad case of COVID, fatal death, or just really bad, where you would may have long COVID,
Mm.
they, vitamin D3 deficiency. That's a hormone. But, as we age, our organs aren't working as efficiently. So it's not creating the vitamin D3 from the sun anymore the same way. So we do need vitamin D3. And, when during COVID, I remember going to the pharmacy and people, oh, I'm like, oh, you're buying vitamin D3. Like, oh, yeah, I take 1,000 international units a day. And I'm like, that's not enough. We live in the latitudes of Canada. UVB rays are just insufficient here to provide you with sufficient vitamin D3 throughout the year.
Mm.
So we need more than that. We have 5.5 liters of blood circulating through our body. You need a whole bunch more than that. And so I'm not going to say how much, but it's incredible why we don't talk about prevention and have some kind of Canadian participation program making Canadians healthy.
Yeah, prevention is not part of the language
Well, it
now.
doesn't make you any money. It makes no money. However,
Oh,
that's the kind of thing that we need now.
oh, you
This
don't
program.
tell people that there is big farmers and money involved in that. No, no, no. They're doing it just for the health of the people, of course. But anyway,
Yeah, so hopefully, when some of us get into the House of Commons, we can talk about these issues because we're not captured. And it's when you're captured that your hands are tied. And so that's
exactly.
why I always say, the People's Party, we won't have a whip, and we actually have the right to work for our constituents,
Mhm.
and creating those common sense policies for the betterment of Canadians.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you very much. And to join you first, of course, on the website of the PPC, you have your section, Michelle Lindsay, Atlantic Canada Lieutenant, we are saying.
Yes.
So originally from Montreal, by the way, Quebec. Michelle is now in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, a nice province. I love that. So you're involved in many things. Past president of the Metro Business Association, member of the Coal Harbor Business Association, owner operator of 2 businesses. Congratulations. So on the website, People's Party of Canada, Regional Lieutenant, or where can they join you to?
Halifax Regional PPC .ca. Halifax Regional PPC.ca, and
Thank
they can find events there. I know we're upgrading our website, and yeah, so that's where we can. And I just wanted to do one more thing here. Just
you.
wanted to say I've been reading this book here, Betrayal and Deceit: The Politics. What is it? The Politics of Canadian Immigration.
Mhm.
From Charles M. Campbell, and he is the former VP of the Immigration's Appeal Board. And if you want to know about immigration in Canada, that's a great book to read. I'm still going through it. It's a dry read, but it's a good read.
Thank you very much. And we'll do other video. By the way, this interview was broadcasted on Daniel Brisson, Parti populaire du Canada Facebook page. Also on Twitter, FNL Freedom News page, and also Dan BQC, Dan BQC Twitter, and also the PPC News 24, Twitter account. So you see that on YouTube. Also, I will send the links to Michelle, so she will be able to share it everywhere. Thank you very much for your presence, Michelle, and of course, we stay in touch, and we'll have other meetings. I think we'll have other subjects to discuss.
Definitely, we should be doing this once a week. Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.